Always enjoy a few minutes with New York Post baseball writer, columnist Ken Davidoff. Nobody does it better. I enjoy reading Ken's work over the many years, and a lot going on. At least last week, a ton of stuff with Chapman and Sale and some off-season signings. And, of course, we are the home of New York Yankee baseball right here on 104.5 The Team. So who better to talk about the Yanks, a little bit of baseball here to break up the NFL than Ken Davidoff. Ken, good morning.
Good morning, Roger.
How are you? How you doing, Ken?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy holidays to you. Did they give you a little time off? Did they, baseball's such a long grind and you work like crazy. Is this a good time of the year to kick back a little bit or not?
Well, as we speak, I'm on my way to Citi Field. There's a Mets holiday event with Noah Syndergaard, Santa, and Jose Reyes. But next week and the week after, I'll take off. And it's for sure has slowed down.
All right, let's get to the Yankees first here. The signing of Aroldis Chapman, that seemed to be the guy that they wanted. They got him, and they're also pretty set on what their philosophy is right now in terms of not wanting to give up on their prospects. Do you like the direction that Brian Cashman is going with his team right now?
I like the general direction, Roger. I think for sure you can say for now as a team that's not all in, paying $86 million for a closer, I think that's a very fair question. I kind of get it. I mean, he's 28 years old. I think the thought is he'll still be elite years 2 and 3 of the contract, and then he can opt out after that. So they're trying to thread the needle. It's not easy to do. I'm intrigued to see whether they can pull it off.
Yeah, I am too, and like people will say, well, what are the Yankees going to do next? I don't know what is their next move in terms of like another pitcher. I don't know who's out there that they could make a serious run at, or that would really help them and push them over the top for next season.
I think the next move is to sign a reliever, probably a lefty reliever. To pitch the 6th and 7th innings, if you will, and then they would love to get a starting pitcher. Better starting pitcher, but the market is just off, free agent and trade market.
Yeah, and there's no question. There's not a lot of big names. And, back in the day, Ken Davidoff with us, New York Post, back in the day they would have, George was around, they probably would have made, whether they wanted to or not, George would have wanted to, they would have made a serious run at a guy like Chris Sale. They would have had him in their back pocket.
You're probably right. And I think that would have been the wrong move. This is not a team that's one player away from being a perennial contender. They need time to let these prospects marinate, get their at-bats and their innings, and see who can stick and who won't.
Ken, is this a team that will be playoff contenders? I mean, they get Chapman. You know what's coming back. They get some young guys certainly that have turned some heads. But is this a playoff team next year?
Roger, I'm going to punt that question because they're not done yet. I'm curious to see what else they do. It is interesting that while they have had their worst 4-year run in a very long time, they've still posted winning records in that run and stayed mathematically alive until the final week. So I think you give them the benefit of the doubt whether they can do that again. Now I know that is not much for many Yankee fans.
Hey, Ken, Chris Honorato here, and I'm looking at your piece on the bit of good news the Mets got on Juan Lagares. How do you see that outfield shaping up once it comes to opening day with, a lot of people would say, a glut of outfielders?
Hi, Chris. I think Jay Bruce will be traded by spring training, start of spring training. And I think they'll have they'll have Cespedes in left. They'll have Lagares in center a lot of the time, and then sharing time with Granderson and Conforto out there, and then Granderson, Conforto in right field as well. And Brandon Nimmo could be in that mix too.
Ken, when you look at their pitching staff, you expect everybody back healthy, all the young arms ready to roll next season for the Mets?
Oh, no, of course not. No, I mean, these are talking about the human pitching arm, and bad stuff happens, and I don't think it's realistic. There were 4 guys coming off surgery, if you count Zach Wheeler. I don't think it's realistic to expect all of them to come back without a hitch.
But enough that it'll still make this Mets staff one of the best pitching staffs in baseball again?
I don't know. I mean, let's see what it looks like in spring training. I think right now it's just too early to say that.
And one more from me back on what happened last week. Where do you have the Red Sox right now? They get Sale, David Price last offseason, then they go Sale this offseason, Porcello, reigning Cy Young Award winner. Where do you have their pitching staff right now in the American League? And is Boston a clear-cut choice in the American League East?
Yeah, and I hate to be keeping a party pooper, Roger, although I've been a party pooper for about 20 years now, and you keep inviting me back. The winter ain't over yet. So to start trying to evaluate where the Red Sox rank is sort of a fool's errand, right? I mean, teams aren't done yet, maybe including the Red Sox. Obviously, the Red Sox right now look like a very solid starting rotation, although David Price was mediocre in his first year in Boston. But, I think today you'd probably say they're the favorite, but there's a long way between now and opening day.
And if you're a Boston fan and you know anything about Dombrowski, the general manager, this doesn't surprise you, right? This is the way he rolls. This is the direction he's a win now guy. Go get Chris Sale. Go get David Price. That's what he's been noted for.
And that's why he was hired. There's no doubt about it. He's a very aggressive general manager. He trades prospects without losing any sleep over it, and most of the time it has not come back to bite him in the derriere. So David Dombrowski is a Hall of Fame executive.
Ken, I want to go one off the board here because we're in between the winter meetings and whatever else might happen. I like kind of doing this with a guy you know well, obviously Kevin Kernan, because both of you guys are, baseball guys true and tell it the way it is. If you were commissioner for a day, if I gave you one thing you could change about baseball, what would it be?
I would change the schedule, Chris. I appreciate the offer. I accept the offer. And I would change the schedule so that there would be true balance and true equality and not this nonsense of, the Yankees and Mets are natural rivals, therefore they're going to play each other 4 to 6 times a year, even though it doesn't fit into any formula.
See, he's got a better answer than me. My change, Raj, is I don't want managers dressed in full uniform. Growing up as a Braves fan, seeing Bobby Cox run out there in full uniform and cleats, it just doesn't fit. It looks ridiculous.
I like that one too.
For Ken David, I've not have any response to that, Chris. Honestly, I'm just upset that the All-Star game doesn't mean anything anymore. That's all I'm upset about. Are you upset about that, Ken?
I wouldn't say I was sad. I would say I hated it less than most people did. I kind of got a kick out of it. I thought it worked when the game was close.
Yeah.
And then the extra gear kicked in, and I think teams were into it. However, too often the game was not close, and guys just left. I think they forgot a lot of times about the whole correlation with the World Series.
Yeah, well, I took a hit for that last week because I was like, are you kidding me? That's one thing I really enjoyed. I like that one All-Star game I actually pay attention to because it means something. Yeah. I felt like these players and managers were actually giving some effort out there, and I don't see that in other All-Star games. So, but I was kind of, that was not a popular thing to say. Most people said they do not like that format. They're glad to see that they're getting away from that.
I'm with those people.
And Chris is with them. Hey, Ken, safe travels. Happy holidays to you, my man. Thanks for a few minutes here on Big Board Sports in Albany.
Thanks, Ken.
Guys, happy holidays. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ken. Good job, Ken Davidoff.